2. And I'll raise you 5,000.
5,000 to me. Gentlemen, I feel obliged not only to call, but to raise 10,000.
Too much for me.
Damn.
Call.
Aces full of trades. Thank you, gentlemen. Lady luck is certainly sitting on my shoulder tonight.
Cookie, let me have a refill, will you?
So, Harry, how are things going?
If they were going any slower, I'd be sprouting cobwebs.
Harry, my man!
Oh, you two? Forget it, Dexter. I'm cleaned out. Tap City.
Oh, now that is a pitiful shame, amigo, because I am ready to lay on you some news that for anyone else I would charge a C-note.
Dexter, I'm not even working a case.
For you, my man, Harry, a measly 50 skins. I'm about to lay 5 words on you. Rappaport is back in town.
Rappaport? The Irwin C. Rappaport?
The Prince of Pasteboards, the Sultan of Stud, the High Potentate of Poker.
Where?
The minute I spotted him, I grabbed the great man's bags, helped him to a cab.
Yeah, Dexter, where?
Stuck around long enough to hear where he was staying.
Where?
That'll be 50 skins right here, my man, for the name of that hotel.
Dexter, old buddy, you are a real dirtbag.
Thank you, Harry. I am pleased to hear I have not lost my touch.
Yes, well, thank you anyway, Mr. O'Brien. Of course I understand. Yes, I'll give him your regards.
Leo, will you listen to me? What are we talking about? A few $100, maybe 1,000 tops. Leo, hey, you remember the time I brought your wife back when she ran off with that cab driver from Altoona? Yeah, well, at the time you wanted her back. Leo.
Here's the rundown. Mr. O'Brien, no. Mr. Markowitz, no. Mr. Schroeder, tell the jerk I left the country.
I don't need exact quotes. What about Rappaport? Did you leave a message at his hotel?
6 of them. Harry, maybe he doesn't want to talk to you.
Are you kidding me? And Rappaport go way back.
Yeah, I know. 2 years when he walked away with everything but your car keys.
A lousy run of cards. It could happen to anybody.
McGraw Investigations. Oh, yes, Mr. Rappaport. I'll see if he can take your call.
Hiya, Mr. Rappaport. How you doing? Maybe you don't remember me.
Of course I remember you, Harry. With great fondness.
Oh, yeah? No kidding.
That was a delightful game we enjoyed. 2 years ago, I believe. How's life been treating you? Still as exciting as ever?
Exciting, yeah.
I've thought about you often, Harry. Pictured you walking the mean streets at midnight. Danger, your only companion.
Yeah, listen, Mr. Rappaport.
Irwin, please.
Irwin, look, I know you're not in town for your health. Now, if you got something good going, deal me in.
Wish I could, old friend, but I'm in town for a private game this evening with some very rich pigeons. The buy-in is 10,000.
No kidding.
I'd be delighted to have you join us, but unfortunately, I'm not in charge of the guest list. The host is a man named Damien Cox.
Cox? Cox, I know that name.
Perhaps the next time I'm in town, I could catch up on some of your adventures.
Yeah. Damien Cox.
Harry?
I gotta see McGinnis.
Harry, we already owe her $160. We owe the landlord, the plumber, your bookie.
It's a temporary condition.
While you're trying to raise money to play in some card game with riffraff.
Irwin Rappaport is not riffraff. The man is a connoisseur.
Uncle Harry, he's a bum.
Look, kid, one good run of cards and we're at Fat City. Now, see if you can dig me up at least a few $100. Try Mo Spellman.
He's in jail.
Does that mean he's broke?
Plead to second-degree possession. Lady, you're nuts.
Mr. Birdsall, you sold a dozen television sets with serial numbers to 2 undercover policemen.
Entrapment.
Who paid you off with marked bills while they were videotaping the entire transaction. And your girlfriend has already turned state's evidence.
You mean you can't get me off? Forget it, honey. I'm gonna find me a mouthpiece that wears pants that zip up the front.
Louis Birdsall?
Harry.
Louis the Lift? McGinnis, even you?
Harry, don't start with me. The last thing I need is a lecture.
Me? You're kidding.
Harry, what do you want?
What's this tone of voice? This is strictly personal. I came over here to invite you to lunch.
Thank you, but my stomach is not up to Gilhooly's.
Now look, this guy Brian Stafford, the rich guy that has the restaurant supply company, it's a friend of yours, right?
Friend and client, why?
Now, Stafford probably knows this Damien Cox, the one who owns Damien's restaurant.
Harry, even I know Damien Cox.
You do? Great. Grab your coat.
What? Now, wait a minute. Where are we going?
McGinnis, I'm trying to wangle myself an invitation to a very important sit-down.
You and Damien seated at the same table?
Yeah, come on, I'm buying.
You?
Well, yeah, if you get me the introduction. Now, don't say no.
Harry, why would I say no? You picking up the tab at Damien's? It's irresistible.
How much could it be?
Mr. Rappaport has arrived, Thad. Yes, I spoke with him earlier this morning.
Delighted, Damien. Tonight, then. Here at my place.
Would you, notify the others? Uh-huh. Yes. Okay, good. See you around 8.
Silly game. Damien, I'm convinced poker is the only thing in the entire world you really care about.
I care about you, dear. You know how much.
I'm leaving. I have to show a house this afternoon. I won't be home till around 5-ish.
So busy these days, I have trouble keeping track of you.
Don't I need a ticket or something?
Don't worry, sir. I'll remember you.
Harry, I'd like you to meet Damien Cox. Damien Harry McGraw.
How you doing?
Pleasure, Mr. McGraw. You an attorney also?
Me? You kidding?
Oh, he's in much more respectable work, private investigation.
Listen, Mr. Cox, there's a little matter I'd like to discuss with you.
Good Lord, who's after me now?
No, don't sweat it. It's strictly personal.
Oh, marvelous. In that case, we'll chat over lobster.
Wonderful. I'm starved.
My treat, of course.
Oh, that's very nice of you.
No, it's Harry's treat. He insists.
Did you see those prices, McGinnis? You know what they're charging me for that cold potato soup?
Just think of it as a broadening experience, Harry.
I would have ordered something else, but I don't know the French word for cheeseburger.
There is no French word for cheeseburger.
Sorry for the interruption. Oh, Mr. McGraw, we're saying that you're a poker player.
Yeah, I've been around.
Las Vegas, New Orleans, Monte Carlo.
Brooklyn, Brockton, Bridgeport, you name it. Harry's been there.
And you say that you've played with Mr. Rappaport before?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Fascinating. It's been a dream of mine to test my mettle against that man.
Mr. Cox. Call me Harry.
Yes. Well, Harry, I'd like to make you a proposition. How would you like to sit in on our game tonight?
Are you kidding? King Kong couldn't keep me out of there. On the other hand, I will have to check with my business manager because I have a little cash flow problem.
Don't worry about the buy-in. I'll stake you.
You are going to invest $10,000 in Harry? In a poker game?
Not exactly, Eleanor. Let's just say that I'm buying insurance. Mr. Rappaport's reputation is legendary, and I just want to make sure that his success is due to skill and good luck, and not something else.
Oh, Erwin Rappaport's probably the most honest guy I've ever played poker with.
Oh?
But, yeah, you know, there is something funny about the way he handles the cards, those big fat fingers of his.
Exactly, Harry. And you'll be my watchdog.
Those prices an AKC registered watchdog.
The money is immaterial, since I intend to win everything anyway. Well, Harry, to tonight. Good times, good cards. Good luck.
Here, here.
At times, gentlemen, I feel like a nightclub comic, playing an endless series of one-night stands. Today, Toledo, tomorrow, Tampa.
Well, Irwin, you're a very lucky man.
Oh, please don't envy me my lifestyle, Mr. Cox.
Queen 10 bets.
600 and all in. Call.
Actually, I was referring to your consistent success at this game.
May I modestly suggest, Mr. Cox, that luck has very little to do with it.
The player's all in. Turn them up, guys.
That's too bad. I was hoping to approve this pair of eights.
Aces over deuces.
10,000's enough for me, gentlemen. Mr. Rappaport, nice to meet you.
Pleasure, Mr. Stafford.
Glad we met. Good night.
Sorry I didn't play better.
Here, Brian.
Good night, sir. See you next time, fellas.
So long, pal.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm ready for a pit stop, so let's take 10, eh?
Sounds good.
Mr. Cox? Nothing.
What?
Rappaport. If he's dealing cold, I can't see the ice pick.
Oh, yes. Fine. Fine.
Yeah. If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have none at all.
That Mr. Stafford, a charming and personable young man, Harry.
He sure doesn't know squat about poker.
Well, that's hard to say, since he was deliberately trying to lose.
You're kidding.
Oh, no. First time I've ever seen it. Very, very odd. I also wondered where he was off to in such a hurry. It was as if he couldn't get out of here fast enough.
Charmaine? Charmaine?
$500.
You're 500. And 15 better.
Out. It's too rich for me.
Forced to call you, Harry.
Forced to do that, huh, Irwin? No pair.
2 kings.
Whose deal?
I beg your pardon, sir. There's a gentleman to see Mr. Cox. He's from the police.
Probably some trouble at the restaurant. Never a night off. Damien, what is it? It's my wife. She's dead.
What?
No.
She's been shot. They're holding Brian.
Stafford?
This is insane. It doesn't make any sense.
I'll take care of that.
Thank you. I have to go identify the body.
I'll go with you.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Please, Mr. Cox, let me express my condolences. This must be a total shock to you.
Yes, it is. Excuse me.
Harry,
Hell of a way to break up a poker game.
were you able to talk to him?
No, they wouldn't let me near him till you got here. What'd he say on the phone?
Help.
Why would I kill her? I loved her.
What about this house they found you in?
I'd rented it under an assumed name.
And no one knew?
Damien knew. He must have known.
Brian, what are you saying? That Damien killed his wife and then framed you?
She was terrified of the man. He told her if she ever tried to get a divorce, he'd kill her. That's why we were meeting secretly.
You're way off base, Stafford. You said you got to the house at 10:30. She was already laying dead on the floor. And then somebody hit you from behind?
That's right.
Well, you can forget about Damien Cox because he was in the poker game the whole time. He never left the house till the cops got there.
Then he arranged it. He hired someone.
Yeah, sure. Probably found him in the yellow pages. Oh, come on, McGinnis. The guy's story smells like a week-old chili dog.
The man is incapable of murder. Can't you see
What I see is a middle-aged Romeo who was bagging another guy's wife.
You're not keeping an open mind.
Wrong. I got a mind like a sieve. Look, McGinnis, figure it out. They meet at this little Shangri-La in the suburbs, a place that only they know about.
The man is intelligent, with a fine background.
Hey, so were Leopold and Loeb. Look, McGinnis, I'm only the hired help. You tell me that the guy is Santa Claus, sure, he's Santa Claus. Just don't shoot me if I find out he's a phony in a cheap red suit. He is, huh? You sure about that? No kidding. Hey, you're sure we're talking about Brian Stafford? Yeah, right. This guy's got more friends than a lottery winner. If it wasn't for the evidence, he'd probably be up for the Nobel Peace Prize.
The name and address of the neighbor who heard the shots.
Oh, thanks. I'll talk to him.
Excuse me, Harry?
Irwin! Irwin, you know my niece, Emma Jean, don't you? Irwin C. Rappaport.
EJ, right? Something I said?
No. She's just got this thing about poker players, me included. So, Irwin, what can I do for you?
Harry, I'm here to volunteer my services in the investigation.
Hey, Irwin, now you're great with a deck of cards, but what I do...
Please, listen. For the past few years, my life has been drab, colorless, boring.
Yeah, playing high-stakes poker all around the world. My heart's bleeding.
But last night, I felt a rush of excitement.
Irwin.
You killed her.
Who?
Damien Cox.
What? What are you talking about?
Damien Cox wasn't the least bit surprised to learn that his wife was dead.
Okay, so you're a mind reader.
I'm a poker player, and I know he was lying. The same way I knew you were trying to buy that pot with a busted flush. Harry, you're an open book. Every time you tried to bluff, you take a piece of gum.
No.
Yes.
There goes another filthy habit.
Cox, on the other hand, has a habit of scratching the back of his neck when he's lying.
Are you sure? I never noticed.
Harry, my livelihood depends on those observations. Now, please, would you mind very much if I just tagged along?
I'm sorry, Irwin, but witnesses tend to clam up when they get double-teamed. But thanks for the tip.
If you prefer an open casket, Mr. Cox, we can restore the features of your departed loved one to lifelike reality. Indeed, she'll appear...
A closed casket, Purdy, the best you've got. Whatever has to be done, do it, and send me the bill.
Yes, sir. I'll see to everything.
McGraw, you're a little early to pay your respects.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, actually, I'm on the job. Mrs. McGinnis is representing Brian Stafford, and I'm working for Mrs. McGinnis.
I see.
Well, it wasn't my idea, but a job's a job, right? Look, I just want you to know you have my heartfelt sympathy.
Thanks, Harry. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Yeah. Boy, it must have come as a real shock to you. I mean, Stafford and your wife.
As I say, I still haven't quite come to grips with it.
Yeah, and them renting that house and all, you probably had no idea what they were up to.
Not a glimmer. The whole thing came as a total shock. Look, keep me apprised of any developments, will you, McGraw? I'm anxious to know what you learned.
Oh, you got it, Mr. Cox.
Is that right? When was that? Who else was involved?
Oh, no. Thad
Just his
Pemberton's
wife?
house, yeah, with Cox arranged the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Told him what night, where, who to invite, the whole McGill.
Harry, don't tell me you're starting to believe in our client.
So I was wrong. Once in a while, McGinnis, even I can be wrong.
You, Harry? Next I'll begin to doubt papal infallibility.
Hey, what are you busting my chops for? I figured you'd be excited.
Why? Because some card shark tells you Damien scratches his nose.
Neck.
Whatever. Am I supposed to take this into court? Maybe he has psoriasis.
Maybe you should get in a poker game sometime.
Spare me that.
Will you listen, McGinnis? Cox organizes the game knowing Brian Stafford is going to leave early to go play tug and tussle with his wife. He always left early.
And it only cost him $10,000.
So he's a sport. He can afford it.
And then what? He hires some killer to do his dirty work for him?
Right. And meanwhile, Cox has got an ironclad alibi at the poker game with me to swear to it. Me, who's working for his lawyer. Why do you think he paid my way into the game? It sure wasn't to check up on Irwin, because he didn't care about Irwin.
All right. What's his motive? Jealousy? Oh, Harry, please.
How about $4 million?
Stephen, if you're on his side...
A year ago, the restaurant was going to go belly up. Damien reorganized, putting the cash up by his wife from her trust fund.
Probably twisted her arm.
But her lawyers insisted she receive 51% of the new stock.
Putting her in control.
Now, come on, McGinnis. She couldn't control that guy. But it fits. Yowza. Not only does Cox get rid of his wife and frame her boyfriend, but he also gets back his restaurant, plus any spare cash the late Mrs. C might have had laying around.
Harry, you are here. But you can't be here. I mean, I just got the weirdest call from the police. They told me they just arrested a private eye named Harry McGraw.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me.
Mr. Rappaport, you are facing very serious charges. Breaking and entering, interfering with the police investigations.
I know.
Yeah, not to mention giving me a bad name. Did you have to use my card?
And who would divulge information to Irwin C. Rappaport, poker player? Please, Harry.
Go on, Mr. Rappaport.
Well, I thought I could learn more if I sneaked into the murder house. So I went around the street and back, cut through a yard, let myself in a rear window. Except I confused the houses because when I got inside, suddenly a bathroom door opened and out came this woman. A not very attractive woman, I might add, naked as a jaybird. And while she was screaming, this outraged individual, the size of Mount McKinley, burst into the room and...
Yes, we see.
He accused me of being his wife's boyfriend. I told him I didn't even own a Thunderbird. And I certainly hadn't...
Whoa, wait a minute, Irwin. What Thunderbird? What are you talking about?
A man had been seen hanging around the neighborhood for the last 2 weeks, driving this car.
Did you get a license plate or a description?
It was a late model, red, with a dented front fender.
Yowza, now we got something.
Harry.
Don't you get it, McGinnis? The guy driving the T-Bird. He's our man. He's Damien Cox's hitman.
Oh, Harry, we can't be sure of that.
Well, I'm sure. Look, Cox hires Joe T-Bird to follow his wife. Then he orders the hit. We find the guy driving that car, we find the murderer. And Damien Cox is dead meat.
You're late.
Forgive me, Patrick. I barely function at this ungodly hour of the morning.
It's this cold weather. I can't wait to get back to Vegas. This new job. Who's the hit?
He's a private investigator. The world won't miss him very much, but I want it to look like an accident. The usual terms, of course, in cash. I'm sorry, Patrick, but I couldn't run the risk of blackmail. You understand.
Harry, old friend, really now.
Come on, Owen. You're ruining my breakfast.
All I want is some excitement.
You didn't get enough excitement climbing in that bimbo's bedroom? Listen, Erwin, McGinnis got the charges dropped. Like the song says, know when to fold them.
Harry, I'll pay you. Better yet, I'll trade you. I'll give you lessons. Everything I know about poker.
Yeah? Gee, Erwin, I don't know.
You'll be unbeatable. Any game, any stakes. It's like an annuity.
Cookie, turn that up, will you?
At least think about it.
The body was discovered at approximately 8:30. The victim had been dead for at least an hour, perhaps longer.
You see that?
Lieutenant, what can you tell us about this bizarre
Didn't you tell me the guy casing the murder house was driving a red T-Bird with a dented front fender?
Yes.
There it is, right behind the cop's ear.
Lieutenant, what can you tell us about this bizarre slaying?
The victim was shot to death sometime between 6 and 7 a.m. this morning. As yet, we have been unable to make...
Put it on my bill.
Where else? Harry, you are an ungrateful creature. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have that clue.
Okay, Erwin. You want excitement? You got excitement. Let's go.
What happened? Did he show up?
Nobody showed. Maybe you screwed up, Erwin. Maybe you heard it wrong.
And maybe that's not the car. It seems to me if your hitman were responsible, he would have split like that. I mean, what did he do? Grab a bus?
Harry, you dummy. Sleeping Beauty under the tree. That's the hitman.
Somebody hit a hitman?
Not somebody. Damien Cox. Listen, can you drive?
Yes, but
as soon as I get that tin can started, you follow me.
You're going to steal that car. That's grand theft.
Hey, he sure doesn't need it.
If you're right. Harry! Harry!
Harry, you can't be sure. Rental car agreement. Receipt from a motel. Alan B. Smith. That's original. 8686 Sand Hill Road, Las Vegas.
That address is also false, Harry. I've been living in Las Vegas on and off for 30 years, and I should know.
Yowza, yowza.
What is it?
Candid camera time. Looks like the dead Mr. Smith popped a few shots of the late Mrs. Cox playing house with Brian Stafford.
Which means?
Which means we got our hitman. Now all we have to do is tie him to Damien Cox.
Perhaps we should start by finding out his real identity.
Very sharp, Erwin. I almost didn't think of that.
Wait a minute. How long did you say you lived in Vegas?
Well, 30 years, but
Well, in all that time, you must have eyeballed at least a few thousand undesirable characters across a card table. Maybe including this John Doe the cops have got on ice.
Possibly, but
Come
I
on,
can't remember.
Erwin. You and me are going to pay a little visit to the morgue. By the house and by the car. The late Charmaine Cox and our client, immortalized forever.
Harry, who took these photographs?
A Vegas scuzzball named Pat Quigley. He's the stiff they found in the park.
Police haven't identified the corpse yet.
They didn't have Erwin C. Rappaport, who recognized him the minute he saw him. Look, gang, it's simple. Damien hires Quigley to tail his wife. And when Quigley shows him this photo album, he hires him to ice the wife and frame the boyfriend.
And then he kills him. Why?
Because not only does he avoid the embarrassment of being blackmailed, but he also breaks the link to Quigley, which, by the way, brings up another problem. I triple-checked the guy's car, I searched his hotel, I checked the phone records, it's all a big zip.
So you don't have anything connecting Damien to Quigley?
Nothing yet. But the first thing we're going to do is ship EJ off to Vegas.
Vegas? I hate Vegas.
Then I call a friend of mine at the phone company. Then after that, we fix up Junior here with a brand new wardrobe.
Now, don't drag me into this.
This guy Cox, you ever meet him?
No, but I don't want to start
Great.
now. McGraw, I don't want to get involved in another one of your harebrained capers.
Of course you do, Sonny. It's for a client.
Harry, is this sudden inspiration of yours by any chance legal?
Come on, McGinnis. Legal is a state of mind. Look, trust me. In a couple of days, we're going to have Damien Cox begging for a set of steel bracelets.
It has now been 72 hours since the discovery of an unidentified corpse on the Boston Common. A police spokesman says several leads are being tracked down and that a breakthrough is expected momentarily. And now, back to the Gil Starbuck program. Easy listening on station WJL.
Mr. Cox, I trust everything's to your satisfaction.
Yes, it's fine.
Your wife was well loved, sir. Well loved. So many people, so many heartfelt expressions of loss.
Yes, I'm sure.
Why, they've come from everywhere. New York, Atlanta, even from Las Vegas. You must be very touched by this outpouring of sympathy.
Las Vegas?
Why, yes, it's in the guest register. I didn't meet the gentleman personally, I'm afraid.
Excuse me.
Poor guy. I think he just choked on a peach pit.
Yes, operator, in Las Vegas. I need the number of a Michael Quigley. I'm sorry I don't have an address. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, Michael Quigley, please.
Mike, sorry, he's not here.
Do you expect him shortly?
I don't know when he's coming back.
This is rather important.
Listen, all I know is that yesterday he tells me he has to go back east someplace. Something about his brother Pat. I don't know. He didn't want to talk about it. Listen, why don't you leave me your name or number or something in case he calls.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely, goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Mr. Cox? Mr. Cox?
Mr. Cox, wait a second. Listen, you got a minute?
What?
There's a couple of things I want to ask.
Harry.
Oh, McGinnis.
Harry, this is not the time or the place. Damien, I'm really sorry. Come along, Harry.
Yeah, sure.
Deepest regrets, Mr. Cox.
Thank you, Mr. Rappaport. Frankly, I'm a little surprised to see you still in town.
It's my doing, Damien. I felt badly about the card game breaking up the other night.
As did I. So, when Mr. Pemberton suggested we play one more time,
There's another game?
At my house tonight.
I wish I could have delayed my trip a few days to include you, Mr. Cox.
Well,
Naturally, we respect your feelings of loss, Damien.
Let's not be overly sentimental, Thad. I've suffered a deep loss, of course, but I have to get on with my life.
Are you sure?
Charmaine would understand. She's wherever she is, and tonight where I'll be is your place.
A bit.
Harry, as plans go, this one is right up there with the design for the Edsel.
Edsel should have had it so good.
Why do I have this feeling of impending doom?
What are you talking about?
Does the word disbarment mean anything to you?
Hey, Cox.
McGraw, what are you doing here?
I followed you from the restaurant.
Are you insane?
Listen, pal, I got some questions got to be asked. Now, Mrs. McGinnis, she's a little proper and all that kind of stuff. But I got a client on the hot seat, and there's some things I got to get straight.
McGraw, I don't have time.
Well, make time.
Oh, I don't like your tone.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm not too crazy about guys who off their wives and then try to pin the tail on some other donkey.
You think I killed her? How? I was with you.
Yeah, but my gut tells me you're in this thing up to your kneecaps. I'm gonna put it all together. Maybe not today, maybe not next week. But you just keep your eyes open, pal, because every time you turn around, it's gonna be me breathing down your neck.
I told yous to come alone, Mr. Cox. I didn't tell yous to bring along a bodyguard. You ran out of chances. I'll be seeing yous.
Anybody home? What is this, a surprise party?
Shall we join the party, Mr. Cox? Move! Look, I'm sorry about the others, but they caught me sneaking in the back. They was gonna call the police. I couldn't let that happen.
Look, Quigley, about your brother's death. I had nothing to do with that.
Oh, didn't you? Well, you hired him, didn't you?
I didn't kill him.
Well, you double-crossed him. Just like you tried to double-cross me at North Church. By bringing along that, seedy-looking bodyguard with you.
No.
Just waiting for me to show so you could kill me just like you killed Pat.
No, that man was a cheap private detective named McGraw. He must have done it. He killed your brother.
Why?
I don't know why. Maybe he found out that I hired Pat to kill my wife. Maybe he tried to shake him down. How the hell do I know?
It won't wash, Mr. Cox. You was scared of blackmail. You killed Pat to shut him up.
It wasn't like that. Please don't kill me.
Irwin, call us a cop. Seedy looking?
Actually, I thought young Mr. Lacey gave a masterful performance.
Yeah, he was so good he almost got his head blown off.
Harry, gratitude flows from you like sap from a frozen maple. You might have warned him that Damien was armed.
Hey, did I know the guy was packing heat?
Forgetting for a moment my own superlative performance.
Irwin, as a detective, you make a great dead body.
I still don't understand why we went to all that trouble.
Very simple, Mr. Rappaport. You see, there was nothing to connect Quigley, the killer, to Damien Cox, the man who hired him, which is what inspired Harry to invent Quigley's bereaved and vengeful brother.
Yeah, and by putting the screws to Damien, we get him to spill his guts, which, if you will note, is exactly what happened.
You'll forgive the vernacular, Mrs. McGinnis, but it sounds to me as if Harry stepped into a cow field and came up smelling like a porterhouse steak.
Harry? Lucky? Oh, surely you, of all people, know better than that.
Yeah, go ahead, laugh and make jokes, guys. But I'm here to tell you that I never had a doubt, not one single doubt, that this whole caper was gonna run like clockwork.
Harry, maybe you should switch to lollipops.